up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I figured let me give you an update on my 90-gallon mixed reef. But before I do that, I do have to get a water change and tank maintenance done on this. So let's go ahead and get that done, and then we'll jump right into showing you in the tank. Water change is done. I also went ahead and cleaned out my skimmer cup because that was full. But as you can see, probably let me throw on the lens on the camera real quick. Hold on 1 second. I've got my glasses, my little reef viewing glasses thing or whatever over the camera lens, so if you guys see this a little bit, sorry about that. But as you can see, there's a lot more coral in here. There have been some changes to the tank, i.e. coral, fish, upgrades to equipment and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get just straight into it. I did just want to show you guys how the tank was looking with the filter over the camera, but I'm gonna go back to this mode because I don't want to hold this these sunglasses. First thing I'm going to touch on is I actually went ahead and bought some printed reef light shades for my Nicrew Hyper Reef 200s. These things are awesome. I got the wide style, so you can see here that it's wide, and it really just allows a lot more of the light penetration to the actual tank, focusing that light down into the tank where it needs to be. It is a little later in the day, that's why you see more of the blues. I usually have more whites throughout the day, so as you can see on my clock up there, it's 8:20, so lights are starting to ramp down. But yes, I bought 2 of those shades for both of my lights here, and I have been loving them. They're really focusing the light down into the tank, allowing me to get a lot better coral growth and just a much cleaner look in the tank. It looks a lot better. The other thing that I did end up upgrading was, I just picked these up yesterday, is I got myself new wave makers. So you can see one here and another one right here. These are the Reef C, I believe Reef C 45s or something like that. I'll put the name somewhere up here. I got 2 of them for a killer deal on Facebook Marketplace, and I have these things only running on 10%, and they are really moving things around pretty well. Not, throwing them around, but you can see the Duncan here is moving. These little tree things over here, I don't know what those are moving, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But there's a lot of flow. See my hammers here going, and my frog spawn over there. But everything has been doing really, really well. That is it for equipment upgrades. I don't know if I mentioned in the last video, but I do have glass lids for it, so that's in there. And now for fish changes, or not even changes, but additions and coral additions. I don't know what I had in here before. I've been getting things left and right, so we'll just go through it. I know fish-wise, my 7 clowns are still in here, which I know is getting heat for on my build videos for the aquarium, because people were saying that 7 clowns in this tank is a lot or too much. It probably is, but fingers crossed and knock on wood here, it has been working great in my tank. All of the fish are all happy and healthy. We do get little scuffles here and there, but nothing major where there's like fin damage or like really, really injured fish. I've never had, again, knock on wood, an injured fish in this tank. All the fish have been doing great. I do still have my 3-bar damsel right there. The blue damsel here, which I learned is a Fiji damsel if I'm not mistaken. My neon damsel, my dwarf flame angel, and I also ended up picking up this really pretty canary wrasse, or I believe it's a canary wrasse, a coral beauty angel, and a 6-line wrasse, which is right there. And my gold watchman goby is still in here too. He's hanging out right here right now because I was just messing around in the tank. But usually, if you guys seen in previous videos, he hides right in there. That's his little cave, but he's just over here because I was messing in here. And yeah, so that's my fish stock list right now. I know I'm gonna get it for having 2 dwarf angelfish in the tank. Again, I've got the dwarf flame and the coral beauty. These guys have been doing great together. They really don't even bother each other. Look, you see them both right there. There's the coral beauty, and there's the dwarf flame, and these guys do not harass each other whatsoever. They've been doing phenomenal in the tank together. All of the fish have been doing great in here. They eat great. They're swimming about. They always come out when I'm eating, when I'm feeding. So they're definitely healthy. And yeah, they've just been doing really, really well in the tank. I do still have my fire shrimp in here. He is somewhere hiding, as well as all of my inverts. I do have my 2 conchs. Let me see, there's one right there, and the other is right back there over this rock. It's kind of right there, it's hard to see. I do still have, actually, no, that's, wait, do I have 3? Oh no, that's a hermit crab, I'm sorry. That's one of my hermit crabs. Here's the other conch. You see its eyes kind of sticking out right there. Let me see if I can zoom in on that freaky little dude. There he is. But yeah, all fish and inverts have been doing great. I did end up actually picking up some more emerald crabs, which are in here, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Let's get to the coral. So very clearly, my corals are doing relatively well. My Duncan here is just my original Duncan's doing really well. The green bubble is bouncing back slowly, but it's there. The pink bubble coral has exploded in growth. This thing has gotten so big. It is beautiful. What else did I have in here? My GSP, I have a little mat of GSP up here, has not been opening up recently, and I think I figured out why, and I will again go over that in a little bit. My leather toadstool there, doing really well. The hairy mushrooms that I have here, doing really well, or some type of hairy mushrooms, I'm not too sure. My red mushrooms have been splitting up and making more red mushrooms, so I'm super happy about that. Again, I want to turn this into a mushroom garden here. This leather toadstool, it's not really open. I don't know if maybe it likes being this far down in the tank. I may move it up. And then my pallies, I believe they're pallies. You can tell these guys have exploded in growth. There's some more GSP there, little mushroom there. And this here, I did find out, is some type of encrusting Monty. It is doing really, really well. I don't know if you can tell, but it is already starting to encrust and grow on that rock there. So I am super, super happy about that. And then I've got this guy back here. I'm not too sure what that is. This guy, move clownfish, that guy right there, doing really well, starting to grow what it looks like new heads off to the side and stuff like that. So really happy about that. And now for the new stuff. So a buddy of mine that I actually met on Instagram, I will leave his information down below, and his YouTube channel actually also, he has one also, Social Reefer out in New York City, gave me some coral. So he gave me this guy right here, which is a Setosa. At least I believe it's a Setosa. And when I was putting into the tank, I did accidentally break a little piece off. So now that other piece is right there and is doing really well. He also gave me this red cap Monty, or red Monty cap, nice frag of that, and that has been doing really well also, and it looks like it's growing, honestly. He also gave me right back there a green digi, and this guy right in front, which I believe is a green Cali tort, if I'm not mistaken. Social Reefer, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's what they were, the names of them. So yeah, he gave me those guys completely free, honestly, so huge shout out to him for that. If you're watching, shout out to you, my boy. And then I've got all of my, some of my zoas. I started putting them throughout the rocks and stuff like that. So got those guys scattered throughout there. My hammer, I do want to put my hammer somewhere in the tank. I was thinking maybe somewhere along this area here. I do have actually some epoxy to use to be able to secure that into the tank, but that's another story. What else is new? What am I talking about? What else is new? Over here, there's a gentleman that was in my area who was shutting down his saltwater tank, and I got these absolutely gorgeous rock flower anemones here. There's 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And these guys have been probably my favorite addition in this tank. I mean, look at how beautiful these colors are. And again, this is without the filter on the tank. Granted, I do have the blue lights on, but this is without the filter on the camera, and you can see these colors are incredible. I also ended up getting this really pretty, let me oops, sorry about that. This really pretty bubble anemone. And my little black clownfish, this guy here, has actually already tried hosting it, and I think it has hosted it. You know, it'll go in throughout the anemone and it'll chill around here, which is really, really cool. I didn't expect it to host that anemone that quick. And I also picked up this other Duncan coral here. It has a lot of heads on it. I got this guy for an absolute steal. So now I have the 2 Duncans here. This one does have much longer polyps. I believe that's what they are, the little finger-like things, polyps. This, again, it is a little closed up because I was just in the tank doing water change and scraping the glass and all that good stuff. But really happy with these pickups here. They've just been doing great. The rock flower and enemies, again, are my absolute favorite pickup. But then I also ended up picking up from another gentleman. Over here, I have some orange digi, which is a little closed up right now, again, messing in the tank. And I forget what that guy is. I do have the name written on my phone. If anything, I will pop that up on the screen here. But he gave me that guy there, as well as these 2 frags here. This frag there, and that frag right there. Also forgot those names. Those will be on the screen as well. But I got those guys as well. So the tank is really starting to fill in coral-wise. Super happy with the way it looks. At this point, it's just kind of a waiting game and letting things grow in. And I do want to, like I had mentioned, start moving some of the coral from this little frag rack and that frag rack back there, and gluing them and securing them to the rocks so that they can actually start growing over into the rocks and stuff like that. Like the green digi and the Cali tort over here are not secured to the rocks, so I do want to just put a little bit of epoxy at the base of them and really get them stuck into the rocks so that they can grow. And sorry, missed another coral. So these guys here, I don't know exactly what these are. They're like little branch thingies. Again, closed up right now because I was messing in the tank, but they grow like little hairs all throughout, and it looks really cool. They don't really glow like, you know, these corals here. They don't glow a super bright color, but even just in the white light, they are really pretty, so super happy with that. In here, this little container here, let me show you above. I mentioned before that I've got some emerald crabs in here, and that is because these corals here were covered in bubble algae and some hair algae and other types of algae. And as you can see, these emerald crabs cleared it out. There's, I believe, 8 to 10 of them in here, and they cleared off all of that bubble algae. So if anybody is wondering if emerald crabs eat bubble algae, I can confirm, yes, they do. This is not the first time, it is not the second time, but this is the 3rd time that I've used these emerald crabs for bubble algae control, and even just any algae control, and they have done their job every single time. I am extremely happy. As you can see, I've got more zoa there, more zoa here, firework clove polyps there. That is another zoa there, another small zoa there, and this one had a tiny little zoa frag on, like a tiny little head. I don't know if it made it. I'm gonna keep this in here temporarily just to see if it survives, and if it does, I'll let it bounce back. And then I've got this guy right there, which I got from Aquashella. It had some bubble algae on it as well. Put that in there, and the emerald crabs took care of it. So super happy with that. These guys will be getting pulled and put into the tank, and then the emerald crabs will be released into the tank to help just with the rest of the bubble algae. Oops, sorry guys. But yeah, the emerald crabs will be released into the tank to help with the bubble algae that is throughout the tank. As I don't know if you guys can see, but on my overflow, let me see here if I can show you right there. You see those tiny little fragments of bubble algae there? I do have some growing on there, so you know, I figured it is part of it. You know, it's algae, it's a tank, so it's gonna happen. I do also have a little bit right kind of there. I don't know if you can really see it, but I do have a little bit there as well. So I will be releasing those emerald crabs into the tank with the other ones that I have in here to help with that hair, bubble algae control. I also read that the rabbit fish, the fox-faced rabbit fish, will eat bubble algae as well. So I don't know if I want to put one of those guys in here because they can get larger than I would want. Maybe I'd put one in here as a temporary type of deal to help get rid of the bubble algae and then rehome it, but I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling with that. As of late, this tank has been doing really well parameter wise as well. I just did the water change today, and I'm actually on 2 weeks of no water change, so this is the 2nd week. And I got my water tested at my local fish store. My nitrates were less than 20, which I think is really good. It's really good for a tank that's this stocked. The only issue, not necessarily issue, but thing that I did have a little bit of concern about is my alkalinity. It was at 6, which is lower than I would like, but it also depends on the level of calcium that was in the tank as well. So I don't want my calcium levels to be too high and my alkalinity to be low, which would be an issue, but unfortunately my local fish store couldn't test for the calcium because he ran out of the test for it. So I will be buying the reagents for the calcium test because I do have it. I just need the reagents because mine are expired. So all of my Hannah checkers unfortunately have expired reagents, so everything's going to get bought new. Phosphate, magnesium, salinity, or not the salinity, alkalinity, calcium, and magnesium. I need to get all the reagents for all of those, so that will get purchased very, very soon. Yeah, guys, lost my train of thought there, but again, the tank has been kind of running on autopilot at this point. I do dose. I will dose the tank with some of Reef Nutrition's Phyto Feast. This, I dose it for a lot of my, if I have feather dusters, my corals and stuff in here to eat. I do want to start target feeding certain corals like the anemone, the rock flower anemones, and even like my Duncans. I want to see if I can try to feed those guys, and then everything else will continue to get the Phyto Feast from Reef Nutrition, and I'll possibly even add a different type of food like that into the tank, but we'll see. Again, the tank has been doing really, really good with the way I have it set up now, so I am very happy with how this tank is progressing, and again, very happy to see how the tank is going to continue to progress, because the corals are only going to get bigger and healthier and more colorful, and this is just going to get full of absolutely beautiful, beautiful colors in the future. And that is the end of the video, guys. Nice short sweet update on my 90-gallon mixed reef tank with my LPS, SPS, and softy corals in here. Very happy with the progression of this tank so far. I hope you guys are as well, and I hope you guys will continue to follow along on the progression of the tank. I will very obviously be updating you guys, periodically every couple of months or so, show you guys how the tank is, how it's doing and stuff. The tank has now actually been running for probably close to 3 months, and knock on wood, or that's not wood, knock on wood, I've only had one loss, and that loss was actually a coral. It was my green hammer, who wasn't really looking too great when I transferred it from 20 long into the 90, so I'm not surprised that it didn't make it. Sucks that it didn't, but everything else has been doing great. I haven't lost a single fish. I haven't lost my shrimp. I probably have lost maybe some of the snails and stuff like that, but the cleanup crew doesn't necessarily last too long. That's stuff that I will be re-upping every maybe year or so, but everything has been doing fantastic. Again, I'm super happy with how it's coming out, and I hope you guys again will continue to follow along on my reefing journey here. Again, it's my first ever saltwater tank that I kind of put together myself, and I'm very proud of it. I hope you guys are as well. Like this video if you liked my little update here. Subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss any more reef updates or freshwater stuff as well, because I do have plenty of freshwater tanks behind me. There's actually an update on the fish room that I've got to do very soon, so stick around for that, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.